All right, so here's the deal with state chasing. It depends on how you define it. Now, if you're just saying that you shouldn't go into the states that your opponent has ticked into first, and if you do that on multiple states, then you're a state chaser. No, that's an essential part of playing this game on a high level, is you have to put pressure on your opponent's states that they're ticking into and try to get them to overspend. You have to do that. That's an essential part of the game. There's nothing wrong with it. Now, there is a strategy that exists from well-known trolls who play this game, who just prey on people who don't know how to play very well, and they will just literally pip into every single state that you do for like the first 7 or 8 turns of the game. Jason McGalley is like famous for this, right? That's stupid, and but the thing is, like, I will quit on a person who does that, who I know does that, because it's no point playing them, really. They're not trying to execute any kind of strategy, and they're easy to beat. That's the thing, is like, if you lose to a person who does that, you're not playing the game very well. So that's my 2 cents.
So state chasing. I would say yes, it is a legitimate strategy. We have some big names in the lounge that it has worked for them, and they're big names because of state chasing. But the act of state chasing as a strategy for every game you go into, I do not agree with that. I think that you should go in with your own, strategy to grab some state groups and, collide when the time is right. And, do some attacking, you do some defending, not just keep the other person on the run. I'd much rather see a balanced game where each player is getting some steals and stuff like that, rather than a game of complete cat and mouse.
Hey guys, it's Nathan Williams. So the question is state chasing. It's a very annoying strategy. Even if you're an experienced player, it's fairly easy to beat. Even if you're not a super experienced player, it's still pretty easy to beat and counter. But it's very, very annoying. And while it may be one of the most annoying strategies in the game, it's probably one of the most realistic to actual politics. So in presidential politics, if you see your opponent campaigning heavily in specific states that are important for victory, or states that you feel you can gain an advantage, you're going to spend money there as well. And that's literally all it is. For example, if my opponent's going for Pennsylvania and I think Pennsylvania is crucial, or if I think I can get them to overspend or over-campaign in Pennsylvania, I'm going to put a pip there in the game. Same thing in real life. If your opponent's going for a state like Pennsylvania and you think it's crucial to your victory and your chances of winning, you're going to go to that state and campaign. So while it's annoying, it's probably the most accurate strategy in the game to real-life politics.
Hey, Brendan, Kenny Tan here. When someone talks about state chasing, what I think it means is saving up your cash and pipping into the states that they enter to pressure them into overspending to defend those states. I recently started playing a candidate that has a high national group bonus, and I love state chasing. It's awesome when I can get my opponent to spend 10 pips in a state just because they were worried I was going to block their next state group bonus. When I state chase people, I always go for national group bonuses first, and I think it's not acceptable to forfeit before turn 8 against a state chaser.
Hey, TwoSeventy, Chad Harris here. Quick thoughts on state chasing as a strategy. I do think it's a strategy, but I also think it's a strategy that limits a player, displays a certain lack of creativity, because in order to win TwoSeventy, you need to be diverse, I think, and you need to have multiple ways to win a game. While state chasing is a strategy, it limits your options, and ultimately, you're not going to be one of the elite.
Hey guys, it's Brendan Borman. Hope you're enjoying the video. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe.
Hey guys, this is Noah here with my thoughts on state chasing. A lot of people like to rag on state chasing, and I think you'll see it's mostly the noobs who are complaining about it. The thing that aggravates me the most, or that I wish that folks would try, is when you are getting a state chaser, you need to stay in that damn game. The fact is, you're never going to beat a state chaser if you give up every time you face one of them. Well, the normal strategy that you'll see from a state chaser is a lot of times they're going to go national groups. They're going to save a lot of money. They are going to pip the states that you're in, and they're going to force you to decide how much are you going to defend your states. Beating a state chaser, you got to be ready to pivot. what I like to do and what I recommend is find slow ways to pivot. So if you're in the swing states, you got Virginia, North Carolina, pivot out to the Old South. Pick up the Old South while they're trying to save all this money. If you're good at doing these slow little pivots and picking up all the state groups, the cash that you'll have every turn is going to outweigh whatever they're able to save. In addition to that, if you pick up two of those, say you pick up Old South and High Tech, out-earned what they're going to get for swing state. You know, normally they're going to chase you on the swing states. Sometimes they chase you on AA. So that's kind of my tip for the day. Good luck with it. Again, above all else, you got to stick with it. You got to hang in there. You're never going to learn if you're not trying. If you forfeit every game on turn 6 because you think they're state chasing you, you're a baby. And you got to come out of your comfort zone if you ever want to improve.
Is state chasing a strategy? I think it is. It's ugly, but in the hands of a good player, it can be very effective. And I think the most important element in state chasing is that you need to have that credible threat.
Hey guys, my name is Hasib Mohammed, and today I'm here to speak on one of the most hotly debated topic in the lounge, that is state chasing. So for me, I think state chasing is not bad. It's annoying, yes, but it's legit at the same time. For a state chaser, I think the most important thing is the mentality. I think he should be comfortable playing from behind and shouldn't panic when your opponent gets a bonus or two ahead of you. I think the best strategy for a state chasing, which I feel is to state chase a big state and then subsequently follow with 2 low spends. It will basically force your opponent in an awkward spot, like whether to defend that big state or spread for other bonuses. If you guess it wrong, it's a disaster. So how do you counter it? For me, I think what I do is I just spend the bonus money attached to that big state and save up the pure cash. For example, if the state is New York, I'll just spend my town and gown money and save up the pure cash and ask my opponent to basically make a move first. If he steals New York, on the subsequent turn, I'll have the bonus money. I will have the cash advantage to pivot into other bonuses. If he moves into Cali and Texas, I'll follow him in one of those and steal it on the subsequent turn. This is what I do, and I hope this is helpful for you all. And also at the last, I would like to thank Brendan and Nicholas for coming up with this great idea. See you later. Thank you.
State chasing is one of the most infamous tactics in the game of 270, pretty frowned upon by the community. It's a very controversial tactic, I would say. I would consider it to be a strategy simply because it has a name for it and it's widely used across the community and across the game. I think a main reason behind its controversy is because of its simplicity and how it's almost like anybody could do it. There's no real strategy behind it other than 1 pip into a state and then wait for that person to ignore the state and then overspend and take their bonuses. Beating a state chaser simply requires you to state chase back, and games like that can end up being really, really crazy.
To understand my opinion of state chasing, you have to first understand how I was introduced to it. In my second ever tournament match, I had to face James Bandolin. And needless to say, he damn near wiped me off the map, and I was forced to call my therapist afterwards. So of course, ever since then, I have had a hate relationship with state chasing. However, I know, just like anyone else, the longer I play the game, the more curious I become, and the more likely I might actually try it myself. So to sum up, this can be put into 2 separate quotes. 1, you either quit the game and die a hero, or you continue playing and become one of those annoying MFers who just want to watch the world burn.
Okay, here we go real fast. First of all, state chasing is a legitimate strategy. It is frustrating and annoying, but it is legitimate and you could win a lot of games with it. Personally, I don't use it, but I could see the appeal of why other people use it. What I usually do to beat a state chaser, I usually make sure I go for my bonuses. State chasers are not going to overspend early. Don't over defend. Expand. Once you get your bonuses, your first bonus, expand to your next bonus. Eventually, the state chaser is going to go for a big steal. And when they do, make sure that the bonus they do steal from you doesn't affect your next bonuses upcoming. So for example, I'll start in Old South, move to Swing, and then I'll pivot to New York and set up for High Tech and Town and Gown. So when they save up enough to go for my Swing bonus and my Old South bonus, not only am I set up for bonuses down the line, but also I'm already pressuring their bonuses they just stole from me. Don't over defend, expand and spread out and use your money wisely. Another thing that I usually do is I only spend my bonus money and I spend just enough pure cash to spread out a little bit more so I have some money saved up also. State chasing is legitimate and it's not too hard to defeat if you know your bonuses and you know how to expand.
What up, guys? Had to roll out of bed this morning. Messy hair. I'm missing Wimbledon right now just to address, because I gotta get my opinion in on this video, because some people don't think state chasing is a legitimate strategy, and I have news for you. It is a legitimate strategy. It's absolutely a legitimate strategy. Anything in the game is a part of the game. The criticism I see against it is that it's boring, it's monotonous, it doesn't take any real skill, you just pip in other people's states. There's templates we use for everything we try and do in the game. We all use templates to get like Old South in 2 turns or swing states in 3 turns. We have our little, it doesn't make it boring, it doesn't make it monotonous or less skillful. We make decisions based on what we think is our best path to win. And if someone's template to winning the game, in their opinion, is to pressure as many states as possible early on, then more power to them. Like, what's wrong with that? There's risk and reward sometimes with that. You have to spend a lot of money to pressure all those states, but you get a lot of states to choose from to steal, which can make it harder for your opponent to pick out which states to defend. So I think it's got pros, it's got cons, you can defend against it. It's just a regular strategy. It's a good template to start the game with for some people and their play style. I don't really understand the criticism. I'm a youth basketball coach, and my team is not very good at ball handling, but sometimes we get pressed. Do I think the teams that press us and use that to their advantage are dirty, or that, I should forfeit just because we're not good at ball handling? It's cheap. Heck no, we got to get better at ball handling. That's part of it. And in the game, state chasing absolutely is part of the game. And in fact, I actually think it's a very dynamic strategy because if you go 2 separate routes, I go swing states, you go town and gown, we're going to go up to the 3rd pip, we're going to get our bonuses, and we're going to have a little showdown at the end of the game. It's a pretty direct, pretty straightforward path. With state chasing, you really have to know the math. You have to, there's a cat and mouse game. There's is my opponent going to over defend? If I need to try and steal this bonus, how am I going to do it as efficiently as possible? How am I not going to overspend? It's I think a challenging strategy to execute. You really have to understand the math, and I think it's perfectly legitimate. Personally, I usually don't state chase, but I think there's a time for everyone to adjust their strategy if they're down in a game, maybe, or just to learn how to defend against other strategies. Try out state chasing. Maybe you can kind of see some of the nuances of it. I don't know. I have a problem in 270 when people complain about basically anything that results in them losing the game. Everything in the game is part of the game. I've lost games because I didn't get my turn in at the timer before. It hurts, but it's a part of the game. And I've got to learn to do better next time. I've seen people say people got lucky for quick balloting. There's no such thing as a quick ballot. The ballot happens the same time when the criteria is met every game. And if you aren't ready for that criteria to be met, I mean, that's on you. We often get so hyper focused on the bonuses because the bonuses are what we learned, about. It's like when we first start playing the game, it's how we first learn how to get an advantage over our opponents. But the game is not whoever gets the most bonuses should win. It's whoever gets the most EVs.